This time on Fliptv News, the headlines. Sanwo-Olu presents 1.388 trillion naira humongous budget, restates special status for Lagos. Nigeria Air to launch operations from April 2022, says the federal government. FG shuts down all operations in Bayelsa over oil spill. Endsars report lacks credibility, says the Islamic group. And finally, in the entertainment scene, actress Mary Njoku expresses disappointment at the choices women of this generation make. Finally, on the international sports news, Australian Open Tournament Director Greg Tiley expressed open to 95% to be vaccinated in time for Grand Slam. 3 men convicted of murder in killing of Ahmad Albre. Good afternoon, I am Shijola Afolabi. You're welcome to Fliptv News. Now, news in details. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State yesterday presented the 2022 appropriation bill of over 1.388 trillion before members of the State House of Assembly for consideration and approval. The current 2022 budget estimate is a bit higher than that of 2021 of 1.1663 trillion. The 2022 appropriation bill, tagged Consolidation, has a budget of 1.388.285.459,990.51, comprising total of revenue of 1.135.159.092.822.30 and deficit financing of 253.126.367.168.20 trillion naira. The budget size showed a recurrent expenditure of 564,934,331,886.41 trillion. 41% and capital expenditure of 823.351.128.104.10 trillion, 59%. The deficit financing, according to the governor, would be by way of a combination of external and domestic loans and bonds, which are well within the state's fiscal sustainability parameters. Speaking during the budget presentation, Sanwo-Olu restated the need for federal government to grant special status for Lagos, said that the 2022 budget was allowed for consideration of the gains recorded by the government over the years. He said the year 2022 budget projects a continuing but very gradual recovery to growth in economic activity as the global economy cautiously recovers from the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. We have therefore approached our revenue expectations with a cautious optimism. Our strident glamour that Lagos State should be granted special status and complementary funding to enable it to maintain and improve the infrastructure that services the national economy remains relevant. The Federal Executive Council (FEC) approved April 2022 as the commencement date for the operations of the country's national carrier, Nigeria Air. This was disclosed by the Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi Shirika, alongside the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, and the Finance, Budget and National Planning Minister Dr. Zainab Ahmed in a meeting with the newsmen after the FEC meeting on Wednesday. The aviation minister revealed that 49% of the Nigeria project will be owned by the strategic equity partners and 46% by Nigerians, while the federal government will own 5% of the shares. Senator Hadi Sirika also revealed that the FEC approved 1.49 billion for the provision of the automated civic aviation regulatory equipment to be located at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja. Today in Council, Ministry of Aviation presented two memoranda. The first one is approved by the award of the contract for the provision of automated civic aviation regulatory equipment, including the software support and training, which will be located at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. In summary, this is a software that will allow all of the activities of civil aviation regulations to be done electronically in one platform during payments, follow-ups on personnel, licenses, medicals, economic regulations of the airlines, safety regulations of airlines, and all other businesses within the envelope of civil aviation will be monitored by this single software, so that has been approved. This one is also the approval of the outline business case for the carrier. This is the sixth time the memorandum appeared before the council and the sixth time got lucky to be passed by council, he said. On the Nigeria Air structure, he said that 46% will be owned by the Nigerian entrepreneurs. He added that the operations of Nigeria Air would generate 70,000 jobs, stating that the 70,000 jobs are higher than the total number of civic servants that we have in the country. The federal government has ordered the shutdown of an oil spill site in Santa Barbara, Nembe local government area of Bayelsa State. The National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, through the Federal Ministry of Environment, asked the oil company to stop its operations until a proper investigation is carried out, adequate measures put in place to ensure that the safety of lives and property in the area. The federal government has ordered the shutdown of an oil spill site in Santa Barbara. The National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, through the Federal Ministry of Environment, asked the oil company to stop its operations until a proper investigation is carried out and adequate measures put in place to ensure the safety of lives and property in the area. The directive is contained in a statement signed by the Director of Press and Public Relations at the Federal Ministry of Environment, Sagar El Mohammed. A massive oil spill occurred at Well 1 wellhead owned by the Austro Eastern Exploration and Production Company at the southern field of Santa Barbara Exploration Company at Oponembe Community in November 5, 2021. Following the incident, the federal government constituted a joint investigation team, JIT, comprising the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission in Bayelsa State, Ministry of Environment, community representatives, and also Eastern Exploration and Production Company to immediately address the situation. The directive is contained in a statement signed by the Director of Press and Public Relations at the Federal Ministry of Environment, Sagar El Mohammed. Consequently, the JIT directed EEP Co to shut in the impacted asset wellhead of for appropriate oil response accordingly by the deployed booms and skimmers to contain the spilled crude oil from spreading. The statement said 3,000 barrels of emulsified crude oil have already been recovered in a recovery barge, while additional booms will associate a Tier 2 response CNA system to work with the on-site recovery contractor. The Muslim rights concern has finally reached to the leaked Endsars report on the clash between Nigeria's security agencies and protesters at Lekki tollgate in October 2020. The Islamic group handed down a resounding verdict of rejection of the report, describing it as a full loopholes and lacking credibility. Muric's verdict was pronounced in a statement on Thursday by its director and founder, Professor Ishaq Akintola. The Muslim rights concern has finally reacted to the leaked Endsars report on the clash between Nigeria's security agencies and protesters at Lekki tollgate on October 2020. The Islamic group handed down a resounding verdict of rejection to report, describing it as a full loopholes lacking credibility. Recall that the Lagos State Endsars panel has submitted its report in Lekki tollgate shooting last week. In the report, the panel indicted the federal government, the police, and the military. In the report, the panel had indicted the federal government, the police, and the military. Muric's statement read in part, in wake of a tsunami of rejections which greeted the leaked report of the Endsars report, we of the Muslim rights concern, having critically scrutinized the report with the aid experts, hereby affirm that the said report is full of loopholes, discrepancies, half-truths, irregularities, and inconsistency, too many to mention. For the sake of clarity, we assert that life is sacred, and to that extent, we abhor the killing of protesters, even if it's just one person. The Islamic group handed down a resounding verdict of rejection of the report, describing it as a full loopholes and lacking credibility. In the report, the panel had indicted the federal government, the police, and the military. The Nigerians were made to suffer the trauma mathematical juggling from DJ Switch 78 bodies to CNN's 56, BBC's 38, and the family's sultry recovery of 23, which the panel probed down to 9 bodies, but analysts have even reduced the figure to 3 or 4 after establishing prima facie cases of improper evacuation of evidence. This report can stand the test of time. Actress Mary Njoku took to her investigation through the Instagram page this morning to advise women of this generation. In a post, the mom of 3 pointed out that the women should ensure they are working and earning a living before waiting for somebody's son to find them. She mentioned that the men do not have the monopoly of making money, stressing that she is disappointed at the choices women of this generation make. She made reference to the story of a lady who went on a trip with a man outside Nigeria and was forced to move her ticket forward after she refused to have sex with them. In the viral post, the young man slammed the young lady for refusing to get in bed with him after paying for a trip outside the country. The post caused an uproar on social media with diverse opinions about the man's decision to send the young lady home. Professional players will be vaccinated against COVID-19 by the time of Grand Slam in January, but unsure whether Novak Djokovic will be among them. Tyler said Victoria says strict vaccination mandate had motivated players to get their shots before Melbourne Park. Today, more than 85% are vaccinated, Tyler said of professional players on local radio station on Thursday. And we take a lot of credit for that because we put a vaccination requirement on it. Tyler said there were one or two players who had medical exemptions from vaccination, but these exemptions were in line with the vaccine's Victoria's health rules. Novak has won 9 Australian Opens. I'm sure he wants to get to 10, said Tyler. He's on 20 Grand Slam titles. Is as Rafa Nadal, who is also coming, and Roger Federer. One of them is going to surpass the other, and I don't think Novak would want to leave that to someone else. He's had a view of something, someone shared it, and majority don't, and I think there will be fair treatment of Novak. Jury Wednesday found 3 white men charged in killing of Ahmaud Arbery, a 25-year-old black man, guilty on multiple murder as counts as well as other charges. The verdict delivered by 9 white women, 2 white men and 1 black man, came after more than 11 hours of deliberation spanning 2 days. It followed 8 days of testimony involving 23 witnesses. The defendants each faced the same 9 counts, and verdicts were as follows. Travis Michael, who totally shot Arbery, is guilty on all charges. Malice murder, 4 counts of felony murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and criminal attempt to commit a felony. His father, Gregory McMichael, who rode armed in the bed of a pickup as his son pursued Arbery, is not guilty of malice murder, but guilty on the other 8 charges. And William Roddy Bryan Jr., a neighbor who joined the pursuit and filmed Arbery's final moments, is guilty of 3 counts of felony murder, 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and criminal attempt to commit a felony. Bryan was cleared on the charge of malice murder, felony murder involving aggravated assault with a firearm, and the count of aggravated assault with a firearm. Their attorneys have said they will appeal. For more news and updates, please stay tuned to Fliptv News. I am Shijola Falabi. Have a good day.